All right. William and Jane. William liked it standing still. When he was hoeing or raking or planting seeds or picking peas, he stood just as still as he could. Even when he ran, he looked as though he's almost any minute he'd be standing still again. That's the way William was. Jane wasn't that way, though. She liked it hopping and skipping and jumping and climbing and crawling under and wriggling over and squirming through. William, Jane would say to him, why do you like it so much standing still? Well, William would say very slowly, well, Jane, because I do. Why do you like it so much hopping and skipping about? Oh, because I do, Jane would say, and you're running off somewhere else to play. One day, Jane had an idea. William, she said, how would it be for one whole day you went skipping and hopping about the way I do, and I went around standing almost still the way that you do? How would that be? Well, said William, why? For fun, said Jane. To surprise your mother and father, said Jane, and the twins nurse and cook. Well, said William, all right. And he went on very slowly pulling up some beets. After he had finished pulling them, he put them in his basket and very, very slowly stood up straight again. Well, he said, when had we better start? Tomorrow morning. Jane gave a little skip. I'll begin first thing when I get up, and you begin first thing when you get up. Well, all right, said William, but I don't think I'll like it very much. And he went off towards the kitchen with his beets. The next morning when Jane got up, she didn't jump out of bed the way that she usually did. No. Instead, she shoved one foot out very slowly from underneath the covers and sat and looked at it. Jane, said her mother, who had come in to help her button her back waist buttons, why aren't you getting up? Well, said Jane slowly, the way William said things, I am. And she poked her other foot out very slowly from underneath the covers and sat and looked at it. What's the matter with Jane? Called Jane's father from the next room, where he was neatly lacing up his shoes. I don't hear her getting up. I don't know, called back Jane's mother. She's acting very queerly. I wish you'd come and see. So Jane's father came and looked at Jane too. They both stood and looked at Jane, looking at her feet. Get up, Jane, said her mother. Get up, Jane, said her father. I'm counting, Jane, said her father. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But suddenly Jane's father saw something out the window. Goodness, he said, instead of saying 6. What he saw was William washing off the furniture in the garden. But William wasn't doing it slowly or carefully, standing still between washes the way he generally did. No. Instead, he was hopping and skipping about, waving a sponge and his pail. William, called Jane's father from the window. Whatever is the matter? Oh, nothing, called back William. I'm just hopping. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la. This is very queer, said Jane's father, and he and Jane's mother ran downstairs and out into the garden. They ran as fast as they could, but when they got there, William had stopped washing furniture and was off skipping underneath the cherry trees. William, called Jane's mother, whatever are you doing? Oh, just skipping, cried William. Tra-la-la, la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Well, said Jane's father and mother, and both went back into breakfast, so surprised. Where's Jane? Asked the cook, when she brought in the cereal. She isn't dressed yet, cook, said Jane's mother. I don't know what's the matter with her. When we came down, she was still sitting there, looking at her feet. Do you suppose she's still sitting and looking at her feet? I hope not, said Jane's father, but I guess I'd better go see. Jane, he called from the foot of the stairs, are you still sitting and looking at your feet, or are you putting your shoes on them? No, father, said Jane very slowly from a long way off. No, father, I'm still looking at them. But I have a stocking in my hand, and pretty soon I'm going to put it on. I can't imagine what's the matter with Jane, said Jane's father, coming back to his cereal. She's never been this way before. I wonder if we shouldn't call the doctor. The doctor, said Jane's mother. But just then William went by the window. He was going down towards the garden with his hose to water the flowers. But he wasn't going down the garden with his hose on the way to the flowers the way he generally did. No, instead, he was playing skip-a-rope with it. William! Cried Jane's father, rushing to the door. And William! Cried Jane's mother and cook, rushing to the door. But William didn't even look at them. He went right on playing skip-rope with the hose. Why, this is dreadful, said Jane's father, going back to his breakfast once more. William acting the way he is, and Jane acting the way she is, I don't know what to think of it. Do you? No, said Jane's mother. I can't think what to think. Well, said Jane's father finally, I'll tell you what. After I've gone to work, you better telephone me at the office and tell me what's happening. All right, said Jane's mother. I will. So then Jane's father went upstairs to kiss Jane goodbye. Jane was standing still in the middle of the room when he came in. She had one stocking on and was looking at her shoes. Why, Jane, Jane's father stared at her. We've finished breakfast, and I'm all ready to go to the office, and here you still are. Well, yes, here I still am, said Jane. Why, Jane, said her father again. Then he couldn't wait any longer to talk to her, because he was so late. So he kissed her goodbye. Don't forget to telephone, he called to Jane's mother and ran down the street. After he'd been at his office for about an hour, the telephone rang. It was Jane's mother. Jane has both stocking-ons now, she said, and she started with her shirt. She's only as far as her shirt, said Jane's father. Yes, said Jane's mother, and William's raked a pile of leaves, and now he's rolling in them. Rolling in them? Asked Jane's father. Yes, said Jane's mother, around and around. Oh, said Jane's father, how awful. Yes, said Jane's mother. Goodbye. So then Jane's father went back to his work. He talked to some men and wrote his name on papers and opened letters with a knife. But all the time he was thinking about William and Jane. About lunchtime his telephone rang. Jane has her shirt on, said Jane's mother, and she's lacing up one shoe. Just her shirt and her shoe since you called me the last time? Asked Jane's father. Jane's mother sounded sad. Just her shirt and her shoe. And what's William doing? Asked Jane's father. William's crawling under the porch, said Jane's mother. Why? Said Jane's father. I don't know, said James' mother. All I can see is his feet. Oh, said James' father. How awful. Yes, said James' mother. Goodbye. So then James' father went back to his work again. He signed his name some more, and he blotted it, and threw lots and lots of papers on the floor. But all the time he was thinking about William and Jane. All afternoon he thought, how dreadful it is to have William acting the way he is, and Jane acting the way she is. I do wish Jane's mother would call me again. Pretty soon she did. Hello, said James' father when the telephone rang. Hello, hello. Hello, said James' mother. Her voice was quite weak. What's happening? Asked James' father. Jane has on her waist, said Jane's mother, and her panties, and one shoe, and now she's putting on a dress. Do you think she'll be dressed before it's time for her to go to bed? Asked Jane's father. I don't know, said Jane's mother. But what shall we do if she isn't dressed by the time it's time for her to get undressed again? Oh, I don't know, said Jane's mother. But won't you please hurry home? What's William doing? Asked James' father. He's up in a tree, said James' mother. Won't you please hurry home? I'll come right away, said Jane's father. Goodbye. So he hurried home as fast as he could, and when he got inside the gate, he looked up in all the trees for William. William, he called. William! Come down, William. Nice William, come down. But William wasn't in a tree. No, William was leaning against the side of the house with his head hanging over. Why, William, said Jane's father. Jane's mother just telephoned me that you were up in a tree, so I hurried home to get you down again. Why did you climb up a tree, William? Well, said William very slowly, I wish I never had. Are you sorry that you did it, William? Asked Jane's father. Yes, said William, very. And you won't climb up trees or roll in hay or hop or skip or jump rope any more the way that you did today? No, said William, never. What I feel like doing, he said, is standing still for a very long, long time. And he began to do it. Then James' father went to look for Jane. He found her in her mother's room. She was all dressed with her hair ribbon on and both shoes laced, and she skipped as hard as she could. Hello, father, she said without stopping her skipping. Hello, Jane. I'm all dressed now, said Jane, giving her father a kiss without stopping her skipping. Isn't it funny? Suddenly she got dressed very quickly, said Jane's mother, and started the skipping. I'm hopping now, said Jane, and she was. And pretty soon I'm going to jump, she said, and she did. And then she started climbing up and crawling under and wriggling over and squirming through just the way she always did, just the way she always used to. I'm never going to stand still again, said Jane, and she never, never did. By Dorothy Aldous. This is The Coyote and the Fox. Owewe Hambayo, which means long time ago. A fox felt very hungry, so he went down into Prairie Dog Town and caught a fine fat prairie dog. Then he built a fire of dry rabbit bush. When the brush had all burned up and left a pile of coals, Mr. Fox took his prairie dog and covered him all with the hot ashes. That was the way he always roasted meat for his dinner. It required some time for the prairie dog to roast, so Mr. Fox lay down and went to sleep. Very soon Mr. Coyote came along. Sniff, sniff. He could smell meat roasting, and it smelt very delicious. He saw Mr. Fox fast asleep, so he slipped quietly over the pile of ashes, stuck his paw in, and pulled out the prairie dog. He ran behind a bush and ate all the meat off, but he left the bones. Then he took a bone and greased the fox's mouth all around with the greasy end of it. After that, he put the bones back under the hot ashes and ran away. When Mr. Fox awoke, he could smell the prairie dog grease. He licked his tongue out and tasted the grease all around his mouth. Surely I have not eaten the prairie dog while I was asleep. No, I feel too hungry. But where did the grease come from on my mouth, if I did not eat him? Mr. Fox was very much puzzled. He went over to the ashes and caught a hold of the prairie dog's foot and pulled. Out came a long leg bone without any meat on it. This is funny, thought he. Just then he spied some tracks in the sand. "Oh-ho!" he said. "Now I understand it. Coyote Man has played a trick on me and eaten my prairie dog. I'll catch him and I'll get him for this." So Mr. Fox trotted off following the coyote tracks. He found the coyote by a high cliff. Mr. Coyote saw Mr. Fox coming, and he knew that he was angry. He did not have time to run away, so he just leaned against the cliff and called, "Oh, Foxman, come here quick and help me. Look up there. This cliff is falling. It will kill us both." Mr. Fox looked up. The clouds were passing over the cliff and made the cliff look as if it were really falling. Mr. Fox jumped quickly over by Mr. Coyote and leaned against the cliff as hard as he could to hold it up. As soon as Mr. Fox leaned on the cliff, Mr. Coyote jumped away. He made a big jump, just as the cliff might really fall on him. "Hold up the cliff, Foxman, while I go get a stick to prop it up with." Then Mr. Coyote ran away and left Mr. Fox leaning hard against the cliff. Mr. Fox stayed there all day waiting for Mr. Coyote to come with the stick. Late that evening he looked up and there were no clouds passing, so he could see that the cliff was not falling. He knew that the coyote had played another trick on him, so he was angrier than ever. Again he followed the coyote tracks and found the coyote down by the river. When Mr. Coyote saw Mr. Fox coming, he called, "Oh, Foxman, come quick and see that I have for you. I have found a cheese and I have saved half of it for you, but it has fallen into the river. Look!" And Mr. Fox looked down into the water. There was the reflection of the half moon in the water, and it looked just like a half of a round cheese, and Mr. Fox's mouth began to water for the taste of it. He was very hungry. "I wonder how I can get that cheese," he said. "I'll tell you how. Let me tie the end of this rope." Mr. Coyote had a rope all ready around your tail and tie the other end to this big stone. Then you can jump into the river and get the cheese. When you have got hold of it, call me and I will pull you out. Mr. Fox thought that was a good scheme, so he let Mr. Coyote tie the rope around his tail and around the stone. Then Mr. Fox jumped into the river with a big splash. As soon as he did, Mr. Coyote threw the stone in after him, and if the rope had not slipped off Mr. Fox's tail when it got wet, then that would have been the end of poor old Mr. Fox. By Elizabeth Willis DeHoof. Alrighty then. I have been Cooper Ultra, and this has been Story Time. Please like and follow if you want to. Hit me up on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. I think I have an Instagram, Gmail, MySpace. I don't know. Cooper Ultra. Goodbye.